Many readers treat the Kama Sutra as an original invention, the work of a single author writing in a vacuum. The text's internal commentary reveals a different history. It describes itself as a late-stage synthesis, a reorganization of much older traditions. To find the text's actual origins, we look to the specific Sanskrit commentary detailing its creation. These records document the field of Kama Shastra at a moment of crisis. The discipline was beginning to fail. Vatsyayana positioned the Kama Sutra as an academic rescue mission, condensing previous works to prevent the entire field from vanishing. Sutra 113 states that older, comprehensive treatises had been broken into fragments by previous scholars. The commentary specifically describes the status of this fractured knowledge. It uses the term utsa-nakalpamavut. This translates to almost destroyed or on the verge of extinction. In antiquity, physical decay and oral transmission failures posed a constant threat. If a manuscript wasn't copied or a lineage failed to memorize it, the information was lost forever. Vatsyayana responded by applying a form of data compression, treating the survival of the discipline as a problem of information structure. This approach suggests that the long-term survival of ancient knowledge depends heavily on how data is organized for transmission. Sutra 14 identifies the first way a science fails: the fragmented, highly specialized texts written by predecessors like Dathaka. The commentary uses the term Eka Deshadvat. It refers to literature that deals with isolated, disconnected parts of a larger subject. This diagram represents an idealized science, a unified, interconnected system. When knowledge is hyper-specialized, the network shatters. The commentator argues that possessing only one fragment fails to provide an understanding of the entire system. The Sanskrit tradition uses a biological analogy here. You cannot understand the entire body, the angi, by exclusively studying isolated limbs, or anga. Specialized knowledge becomes harder to transmit when its connection to the whole is lost. Eventually, these isolated text fragments will completely disappear. Sutra 14 also describes the opposite structural extreme, the comprehensive, monolithic text of Bhabravya. Bhabravya's work was massive. It spanned 7,000 chapters. For ancient scholars, this scale made the archive impossible to navigate or memorize. The commentary calls this Duradyadvat, exceedingly difficult to study due to its sheer size, or mahat. The logistics of antiquity made such archives a burden. Copying or transporting a 7,000-chapter manuscript was practically impossible for an individual. This is a state of unusable density. The information was preserved, but the format made it functionally inaccessible. For Vatsyayana, having an overwhelming amount of unstructured data was as problematic as having too little. Comprehensive data requires an accessible interface to survive. If a text is too heavy to be transmitted, it stops being used. Vatsyayana addressed both failure states in Sutra 15 by introducing a strict hierarchical taxonomy. He called this methodology samshipya, which means data compression. He aimed to produce a manageable text called Alpana Granthana. He used Adhikarana for major sections and Prakarana for specific topics. This creates a structural framework that functions like a modern indexed database. The monolithic data of the older traditions was mapped directly into this hierarchy. This optimization solved the problem of access, creating a manual that was comprehensive yet easy to navigate. By substituting sheer volume with organized structure, Vatsyayana acted as an early information architect. Data compression usually implies a loss of information. However, the commentary states that Vatsyayana retained sarvam artham, the complete meaning of the original science. Unlike the fragmented texts of his predecessors, Vatsyayana's work preserved the entire map of the discipline, just at a smaller scale. This nested structure allowed the human mind to hold and recall a vast system more effectively. By maintaining core principles in a smaller footprint, the text reduced the cognitive effort required to master the subject. We can compare these three models of ancient knowledge preservation. Here we see the scattered fragments, the impenetrable monolith, and the cleanly branching network. The fragments and the monolith vanished because they failed to meet the practical needs of scholars. Of these models, the condensed, structured taxonomy proved the most durable for transmission across centuries. Vatsyayana recognized that a science requires a middle ground between fragmented parts and an inaccessible whole. The Kama Sutra's survival highlights how structural accessibility serves as a practical requirement for any knowledge system intended to last across generations.